Welcome to the war. Okay, trying something a little different tonight. It's a rare evening that I don't really have much going on around the house or so, or such. So I thought I'd just throw the camera on the tripod and record what I'm doing while I'm building these Native Americans for Blood Plunder with Firelock Games. So this is, if you watched my Historicon video, this is a box that I picked up there, and now that I've got my terrain table finished for Blood Plunder, I'm going to start building out the forces that I've got. So yeah, I don't know if the format of this video is going to work, if it's really even my style to talk about such a thing or in this format, but I thought I'd give it a go. So we'll see. If you're seeing this, then I felt it was worth sharing. But part of what I wanted to share or talk about as I was building these is, I think they're one of the first plastic kits that Firelock Games have put out, and they're good. I like them, but I was thinking as I was building them, like I was thinking through how, you know, the experience, and I thought I just kind of share those thoughts. So really my first thought, you get 12 guys in a box, or 12 warriors in a box, or miniatures, 2 sprues of 6 each, and you can arm them with a variety of different things. I'm choosing to arm mine with bows. I do like the poisoned arrows special rule that the natives get, or at least the force that I run in Blood and Plunder get. I think it's just interesting. So they're all gonna be armed with bows, and then in terms of the plastic, and I can already tell, I'm just going to be talking. I'm only going to be doing a lot. I am multitasking here, but no, I'm joking. But the plastic reminds me, they're kind of like Wargames Atlantic plastics. If you ever get any of those from like Warlord Games, I know I've had mixed results with both. Some sculpts, some poses, some frames I absolutely love. Like I'm thinking the Native Americans, actually, for the War of Independence kind of era that Warlord Games do. I love those, but they're incredibly dynamic, very, very good. But then there are some that I really don't like. I remember putting together the Test of Honor plastics, the various Japanese Ashiguru and the archers or the bowmen, and they were just an absolute nightmare. But these, I'm not saying these are absolutely great, but they're a very good first attempt. You get a ton of options on the sprue. What I'm getting is they just feel like it's a similar plastic, I think, as Wargames Atlantic. All right, I'm going to stop rambling and start putting these together. I've already built. I think so far they're quite logically put together. There's an A pose, a B, a C, a D, E, an F pose. I'm just putting together the basic poses before we put heads or armaments on them. So we're gonna, and I've already started with A, B, C, and D. You can see, what do we got here? Even my lighting might not be great, but you can see everything except the head and the armaments and any kind of accessory. So I'm gonna get them that far. I'm gonna start with person E, and now we're just gonna watch me look for various parts on the frames, and I'm doing them kind of two together. So I'll clip off everything for this E, or this pose, and I'll do the same thing with the other frame or sprue. We'll see if now I'm doing this, I can't talk. Interesting. We're learning. Some of them have their legs attached, some don't, or one of the legs. I guess that adds a little bit of variety. Oh, interestingly, this one does have specific armaments that go with his body. So we're gonna need to keep this handy as we go. Ooh. All right, now look at me. This one already has a lot more parts than the other ones. So we need E3. That's here. There we go. And I really am trying to stay, I'm somewhat going off topic here, but that's kind of what I'm talking about. I'm trying to stay focused on this project because I've been watching some other videos or tempted by some other periods or eras that people are playing. I won't name specifics because I won't go off on a tangent, but I really am trying to stay focused and just get these built and painted and start playing with them. My Blood and Plunder, my existing force before I built the table, I sort of my good friend Tom, who I've said before is a big advocate and fan of Blood and Plunder and all things Firelock Games. He's the one that really got me into it, he really bought into it. And I sort of dipped my toe in a few times. Oh, interesting. It's got 3 different options. I don't know why that is. Look at this. The moment I think I know what I'm doing and start rolling the camera, it gets complicated. All right. But I was saying, yes, he really bought into it. I dipped in and out. And then just at the beginning of the summer, we had a couple of games that I just really enjoyed. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this for real. This is gonna be another period that I'm gonna really get into. And I am a fan of games that or have a fully supported system. I don't know if that makes sense to you, if you know what I mean. But like games where you don't have to like. I do like some games where you gotta piece things together. But I like that basically Firelock provides everything. The rules, the terrain. Well, I guess they have the terrain, sort of. The miniatures, the cars, everything you need, it's all provided. It's like Flames of War or Bolt Action, anything, I mean, pretty much anything that Warlord does. I do like those systems. All right, so it looks here, I know, again, I'm going off topic, but we're all over the place here. But it looks like they've given a variety of options. And while I was saying that I'm building these 2 at a time, this one I'm just going to try and build one of these for now, just to understand what I'm doing. Forgive me if I'm going off camera or out of focus or anything like that. I'm kind of looking down at what I'm doing, which I'm noticing is not the best angle. All right. Trust the plastic glue. It's funny. I'm not precious about what plastic glue I use, or I mean, really any glue. Well, I can't say that. I am a big fan of this brand of super glue, and I like that it always has different game stores I go to all over the country. I always get a different sticker on it. I think that's fun. But plastic glue, I'm not. I do like the what's that company called? The that makes the paint. Why am I blanking on the name of it? Modeling Masterclass, something like that. Black bottle, but can't seem to find it anywhere lately. But I always have a pot or 2 of Games Workshop plastic glue around, and it's funny. A while back, I was at a Games Workshop. I dip in every now and then with this. This is a funny looking arm. I don't know if I like this arm. And a guy came in, like, he was a grandfather, and he bought some sort of model kit, not just a tank or an airplane, not a wargaming thing, and asked if, didn't have a clue what Games Workshop was or anything to do with the hobby, even the wider hobby, and asked if the plastic glue they had would stick his model together, and he was told no. He said no. No, this glue is only for Games Workshop models. It won't work on anything else, any other kind of plastic. And I followed the guy over to the door, and I was like, dude, the glue will work. Again, don't know what secret sauce Games Workshop thinks they've got in their glue, but they don't. So anyway, random story. Oh, this one is a little fiddly. You have to put their loincloths on. I think I got this the wrong way around. That's what's going on here. All right, let's try this. Big part at the back. There we go. Okay. I should have known that. Anyway, he's coming together quite reasonably. I hope the crickets outside aren't too annoying. I like the sound. I don't quite live in the country, but, well, my home is heavily surrounded by woods. So it feels like I'm in the country, but I'm really not. And I like the sound of that, even if it's not conducive to videoing things when I'm not in the game room. All right, well, they've all fit together very smoothly. This one, not so much. And what is that? The left arm has a lot of, or there seems to be 3 different options. It doesn't really say what any of them are. So I'm gonna hope that the arm, I'm gonna hope it works out. It's in a little bit of an awkward shape. All right, well, it be what it be, I guess. Let's take a look, see. Oh, it's already coming off. I know it's not right. The other interesting thing I find curious about these models is like I said, they're plastic. Obviously they're plastic, and they're the first ones that, or some of the first that Firelock have put out. But the sculpts are nearly identical, if not identical, to the metal versions of the same miniatures. There we go. It'll do for now. I'm not thrilled about this arm. Just doesn't look right. Got a very straight arm that I can't tell which way it goes. It doesn't seem to fit naturally anyway. No, I got it in what feels like the peg, but it's really not. All right, nope. All right, we're gonna try a different arm. Let's try a different arm. No, but as I was saying, yeah, the poses or the sculpts are almost exactly the same as the metal ones that I already have. And I'm really hoping and I'm sure they are, or I expect they are, the exact same size, so that unless you're picking them up and feeling how differently they weigh, they're not going to look any different. Okay. Oh, this one fits, but again, I'm not crazy about the pose. What is this? I'm trying to look at the box now. What is this supposed to look like? This one fits the peg, but looks very unnatural. I do really want that straight arm. Oh, okay. So it looks like it's supposed to be holding a spear or something like that. We might have to, I'm not sure what we're going to be doing with you, but we'll get you on your little base for now. I do love the fairly tiny bases with the wooden texture or the planking texture on them that Firelock provide with the minis. All right, and let that one dry. What do we got here? 14 minutes in, I only got one more. That's terrible. All right, let's see. You were this guy. I'll get the rest of them finished and then I'll call it a night. I try one way or the other, something hobby related. I aspire to 30 minutes a day or an evening when all is quiet, etc., etc. Just to feel like I've achieved something at the end, or like personally achieved something. I don't know if that makes sense, but and I know it. Oh, I forgot the little knife thing. Whatever. And it relaxed me. This is my like relaxing space. But I haven't been able to do it. Like, it's been a very busy summer, which is a good thing. All good things. But I think it's, yeah, I've been out a lot. I really haven't. It's funny, my game room is a lot cooler than the rest of the house, and conversely, a lot colder in the winter. So all winter and spring, I was like, okay, once it warms up, I'm gonna be down in that basement playing all these games, creating a bunch of videos, battle reports, whatnot, and it didn't happen. I mean, I worked on the terrain project. That was no small amount of time, but definitely not the gaming that I thought I would do. I think I mentioned I rearranged things in the room too, so I moved another table to another part of the room. It's got better lighting, and now I've got two tables basically. What are we doing here? E4. All right, the smaller one goes in the front. You know what? I'm gonna get you far along enough that where I know what I'm doing with the certain pieces, getting the leg on, and the leg on the loincloth, and then we'll figure out the arms. Okay. Front. I am starting to think on a format for recording battle reports for Blood and Plunder. It's a game, I don't know if my typical format of just kind of a post-turn or end-of-turn recap, I'm not sure if it's going to work because it's such a geez, have I got this the wrong way around again? The turn dynamic, I think it would be better suited to shooting something live, which I'm totally not opposed to, other than the fact that, if you can't tell already, it's quite a lot of multitasking to do all of these things. All right. I think that works. Okay, so I don't know how, I'm gonna have to play around with that a little bit. Obviously I wanna make something that makes sense. But I don't want to shoot 3-hour-long videos that essentially me getting rules wrong. So that wouldn't make sense. All right, let's figure this out. We're gonna try E9. If I looked on the box, E9 is the more straighter arm. E9. Okay. I do like that they give a lot of, or a very good selection of weapon options for these. All right. Oh, and look at that. That popped on absolutely perfectly. Right. Let's look at you again. E9. I want E9 on you. I'm going to quickly take that off for it. That'll work. All right. I don't know what that other, yes, I do. That was F9 I cut off. All right, I was fitting the wrong arm, the wrong body, or the wrong pose. All right, this one will work just great. So, user error there for sure. All right. But now it looks great. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, this is I think a pose where they're drawing an arrow or not knocking an arrow. Is that what it's called? Knocking, notching. You stay there. Don't want you. And then we'll get you on a base. Well, I'm sure you've heard this from other far more popular and authoritative voices online. I'll chip in too. Do make sure if you're watching this, you're crazy. But anyway, make sure you enter the or enter your answers or your results for the Great Wargaming Survey. Just Google it. You don't need me to tell you where to find it. It's the annual Wargaming survey that Wargame Soldiers and Strategy put out. A magazine I highly recommend, a podcast I highly recommend. I do enjoy their content a lot. I think, I'm not sure when the closing date is, but I know it's not far off. So do take a moment if you can to go do that. It serves the hobby, and it's interesting, and you'll get some free swag. I think this year you get, they're actually giving away an STL file for a miniature, which I think is pretty neat. I'm not going to start talking about 3D printing, but it has been on my mind. I know at some point I'll get into it, but not today. Let's see, F2. This is really it. We're hitting everything here. Surveys, 3D printing. Glue. And for what it's worth, again, this is just a really stream of conscience. I'm rambling as I do this, so forgive me if there's no structure. There was never intended to be. I might have the worst voice for radio you've ever heard. But while I would never I'm not normally brave enough to ask for feedback. I don't really do this for anything other than the joy of the hobby. Really, I'm not looking for subscribers and likes and comments and all that stuff. But if this is how about this? If it's good, fine. If it's absolutely terrible, don't waste your time. Again, Shane, let me know. I appreciate that. Because I won't do it again. All right, so I guess we got 2 arms on that side. We'll figure that out. All right, F7 and F8. All right, we'll go with F8. These instructions, they're basic blowouts. And while I don't find I've read some comments of people saying they're the absolute devil's work. I don't think they're too bad. They're quite literal, in that it's hard to tell what some parts are and some parts are not. I really am second guessing myself here with these things now. I bet you that goes the other way around. All right. Come on. This is fiddly. Come on. Yeah. Oy. And then, anyway, all right, we'll get these finished. And then in terms of painting, as I said, I've already got some of these, or the metal ones, or their metal counterparts. I plan on obviously painting them as closely as I can, which is going to mean, why are these so fiddly? The other ones were absolutely not. Yeah, I'm going to give them an undercoat with Wraithbone, the contrast spray primer. It's funny, I feel like rattle cans, even the name I don't like, I feel like get kind of a bad rap. But certain ones I find not only like acceptable, I like really good. Like and I am a fan, if it's not cheap, but I am a fan of the Games Workshop contrast sprays. And they dry ridiculously fast. But that being said, yes, I'll be painting these with my trusty contrast paints. And I don't know if you can go look in the terrain table video I made. I think I show some of the natives that I've got. I use those, they're fairly new, they're not super new. Those laser cut foliage leaves that I picked up at a convention. You can get various kind of exotic leafy plants, and the moment I saw them I was like, oh, that would be fantastic for Blood and Plunder bases, because they're all quite tropical looking plants. I'll be using them on these as well. So I've forgotten the name of the company that makes them. They're in my terrain box next to me here, but I'm a little preoccupied. Interesting pose, I'm not quite sure which one that's supposed to be, but I'm realizing I must have stopped before I did the other D, but let's just keep going here with this guy. Okay, these ones aren't too cumbersome to figure out. They do have a, what do you call that? The part that holds the frame together, where the part you clip. Some of them have some pretty awkward spots on their ribs or in their side of their stomach, but see, and then that's gonna create that little mold mark that nobody likes. It's not the end of the world. All right, F3. So yeah, that's how I'm planning on painting and putting these together. And yeah, I really don't have, I see in the community, the Blood and Plunder community, there's obviously a certain, this is one of those games, there is a certain amount of skill, art, you choose the word, science, mathematics, it's math, in list building. So I really have no idea if the selections that I'm making for these guys is the optimal build or anything like that. I really don't like games like that. Although I feel like it's somewhat inevitable in anything like this or anything like that. When you're using points, there's obviously going to be that kind of system. So I don't know if these are optimally armed, as I said, with poisoned arrows, but I like them. They're fun to play with. And the few that I've got, I've enjoyed using. But that being said, it's funny. Yeah, now I'm thinking about that points-driven games. I mean, things like Lion Rampant, I guess, or Rebels and Patriots. They're effectively points-driven games, but they don't. I don't feel like they are quite so cut and dry when it comes to list building or anything like that. Maybe they're I don't say generic enough, but they're balanced enough for sure that all right, let's take you literally. Let's see if this works. These should really just go in. The others did. All right, that I got it. Okay, of course, as soon as I do the last one. All right, that'll do. And then we're gonna just drop this arm here. Oh yeah, this is coming together nicely. Okay. And then we're gonna give you your other arm. Let's give you F8. No idea what style this is. All right, bear with me. I'm gonna drop this bit on, and then let's get the other one built that I already missed. We'll go back and build the other previous guy here. D. Oh, wait, hang on. What's going on here? I didn't miss D. You're up here. I just haven't built D. There we go. So then I got 2 to build. All right, bear with me. This one looks pretty straightforward. Ooh, I'll do that. Good thing they're dry. These 2 I will do simultaneously. So we got D3, his other foot. Oof. There we go. This is a very tiny piece. Review. All right, and then we got D5 and D4 right next to each other. Man, you train your eye when you're looking at these things. When you're looking for a piece, that was D4. It's on the front. Do you train your eye to look for the number on the sprue or the piece itself? I think the bigger the piece, or the more unique the piece, I use the actual piece itself. When it's things like arms and whatnot, and you've got 3 or 4 next to each other, I use the number. All right, let's do D6. And I've got no idea what that goes with, but we'll try if it's paired with an arm for, I think, certain poses. But we'll go with D8. D8, D8, D8. People that are putting these together before are screaming at me right now. It's right there, you fool. D8, you know what? We'll find D8 or D9, whichever comes first. There's D9. That's fine. All right. You know what? I take it back just because I'm up in my head over these loincloth facings. Something I thought I'd never be saying this more today when I woke up, but can't tell. All right, you go forward. There we go. Go backward. And the leg. I'm interested to see, again, I don't follow, wait, what? Leg is like, oh, he's kneeling, okay. It's like this leg is like practically bent. Oh, I don't think I could bend my leg like that. Anyway, I'm curious to see what plastics Firelock come out with next. I don't know if that's public information, if they're doing it at all, if there's a Kickstarter or something, but I would say by the quality of these there, they certainly know what they're doing. Or at least, I mean, at least with this set. Like I said, These could be completely hit or miss. I am nervous about putting together the sloops, the boats, both the scale of the thing, the pieces that are involved, and I've heard the instructions aren't super intuitive. See, he's little. I need some cleaning, but yeah, I am a little, I wouldn't say intimidated. I've been intimidated by other models before. That probably sounds silly, but more on the painting side of things. But yeah, just building those because they're so new. But I also think, or it's something so different. But geez, I've built plenty of big models before, and it's a challenge, something different. Many moons ago, before other windy boat games, as they seem to be called, were more commonly available, like Oak and Iron or Black Seas. I tried my hand at building some, or purchasing and building and then learning to play a naval game with Langton miniatures, and never mind building them, ordering them was a complicated affair. They were so complex, like the parts you needed, and again, not cheap. And I was surprised when I built. You had to buy all these. Again, this is what I was talking about, where a company just provides everything. But even though the company provided everything, I felt like it was really making me work to figure out what. Hang on a second. Where's D3? All right, let me find this. But no, it was really complicated figuring out what sails go with what hull and what masts I needed. Concerning what? D3. I'm looking for D3. It's not where I thought it would be. I already built one of these. That's what happens when you're not paying attention. D3. I'm just looking for D3. Never mind if I feel like I already clipped it, but I don't see it. Okay, now I'm feeling like I'm losing my mind. D3, D4. This is D4. Did I already clip? Oh, okay. Never mind. All right. I know what I did. We'll figure that out. But yeah, back to the Langton miniature. Sorry, I know I completely shut down there probably video-wise, but once I'd ordered that, like I said, ordering was a complicated affair. Once I got them, putting them together was an absolute. I was excited for the challenge. That was going to be something new and different, but it really was frustrating. And the rules, I think I probably need some sort of degree in naval terminology to understand it. So yeah, I was somewhat discouraged. But then glad that some more simpler, more frankly accessible. Simple is not even the word. Just accessible, intuitive options are out there, which I think is always a good thing. I do wonder sometimes if I was younger or older, I guess, but born in a different era, would I have? And I'm not talking like hundreds of years ago or anything like that, but let's just say 20 years earlier. Would I have still gravitated towards this hobby? Because from what I can gather, it was far more complex. and certainly a lot less. Here we go, I'm back to accessibility again. Certainly a lot less accessible than it is now. So I don't know if anyone else has ever wondered that. I think I probably would have. Just again, I could talk all night about what it is I love about this hobby, or how, you know, on a number of levels. We'll save that for another night. But I will say, if you haven't seen the, I think it's a Pathé News short, look it up on YouTube, of an old newsreel of Peter Cushing of Hammer Horror fame and Star Wars, I guess, as well. You know, famous actor. Video of him painting and setting up models. Again, we're talking old school. Rules, and I think the video, he says like he's built these things out of wood shavings. I was like, what? But it's definitely worth a look. And again, just interesting to see how that goes. The other video I recommend, I'm just going to put the knife components on these guys real quick. But another video, there's an episode of a TV show from I think the 70s or the 80s, again, a little bit before my time, called Callan with Edward Woodward. And he's some sort of, I haven't watched the whole series, but he's some sort of like government agent, not quite a detective, I don't think, but secret, and not really a secret agent. I guess he's sort of like a secret agent, but he's also a wargamer. And there's certainly at least one episode, I'm trying to remember the name of it, that shows him going to a wargaming convention. He's got to persuade this guy to talk, basically, I guess is the short answer, or do something. But subplot to the whole thing is him playing this war game. And again, just fascinating to see the way they do things, completely different than anything I would recognize now. A lot of they're doing a lot of like record keeping, a lot of it was almost like a role-playing game. A lot of just talking about what their plans were, their intent. They were rolling dice. I do remember, or they roll dice. But anyway, I'm rambling. But definitely on a side note, there we go. Something to take a look at. And or anyone's out there at that, or anyone watching this from that period, or that was playing these games in those periods, I'd love to know what that experience was like. And I mean, are games better now? I don't know. I'd love to pick up some old wargaming magazines and read some of those. I did just briefly, again, without really knowing what I was doing as a kid, look at some of those old Donald Featherston type wargaming books that I'm sure gamers of a certain age grew up on. It was before my time, but even though I didn't have a clue what they were really about, I still thought they were really interesting. Same thing. I mean, again, I felt the same way about like fighting fantasy and stuff like that. I did love those. I then grew up on those and then figured them out. But yeah, funny how we all come into these things at different points and in different avenues. And again, that's a story for another day. But with that being said, just got my last little knife on there, and we'll call that a night. You can see, but I've got so the bodies are all built, just no heads and arms. We'll save that for another night. Maybe I'll record again, who knows. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope while I'm rambling away that you're able to do some hobby project too, or projects, working on something cool. It's always good I like to put videos on while I'm watching, and it's interesting to record one instead of watching one. But anyway, we'll see what the progress is. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. and we'll talk soon.